on. How we doing tonight? The thing's on.
I guess we're
going.
Yeah.
So. Hey, what's up, Dix?
We'll get a sign.
We'll get a sign. We'll figure it out. So.
Yeah.
All right. I guess we probably should introduce ourselves.
All right. So I guess just from the top, I guess. Hey, what's up, Dix? This is. Hi. Hello.
Jesus Christ.
Damn, we're getting blooper cuts right.
What's your name?
Very good. My name is Nick.
I am Andrew.
And I am Zach.
I thought about it.
You had to think about it.
And then we have other Zach behind the camera right now.
Yep. You broke the fourth wall already.
They need to know. Well, at least they know.
Unbelievable.
So, what do we all do? So, what do you...
This is a podcast from some dudes in a band. Our band is called The Mighty Fall. I play guitar. Andrew also plays guitar. Zach Ruggiero, who we will probably be referring to by his last name for purposes of clarity in the future, is the bass player. Zach back there, Zach Caruso, is the drummer, breaking the fourth wall again. He doesn't want to be acknowledged.
Damn it.
But he's in there.
Yep.
Unreal.
So we're talking about some shit today.
Talking about some shit.
We're just talking about shit.
We're kind of playing it fast and loose. This is the pilot episode. We don't know what the hell we're doing.
No. We usually don't. We don't know what we're really doing anyhow.
Yeah. Well,
we got by so far.
Well, boys. Nice.
Thank you. Sorry.
Would have, I guess, started the way that we've started our Metallica show a lot, which is, what the fuck have we been listening to, boys?
Yeah. So just for reference, Nick and I, we have a separate podcast, some kind of podcast. We actually go over Metallica's famous documentary called Some Kind of Monster, which is a classic favorite of mine. So as you guys were about to learn, I'm the boomer of the group when it comes to music. You guys shit on me on that all the time. So I listen to old 80s thrash and early 90s grunge. I don't say grunge, I guess, early 90s sludge and stuff like that.
I like all the same stuff as you, motherfucker.
But you guys I know. But no, I'm not a thrash guy. So
we appreciate your backstory. Please tell us what the hell you're listening to.
Yeah, so right now I'm actually revisiting. There's an old thrash band called Violence. You guys,
Bio-Lens.
Bio-Lens. They're actually coming around April 5th or 4th up to Cambridge. They're playing a live show. They're playing their Eternal Nightmare album.
Good fucking record.
Album tours.
Exactly, and I love that album.
Record, man.
So I've been just kind of digging into that to get my memory fresh and everything like that. Some of the newer stuff from Many Eyes, and I've been listening to and stuff like that. I know you guys are really much into that sort of stuff, but no. So you guys probably hear me in the future talk about older, obscure thrash bands because I'm the boomer of the group and such. So, what about you, Andrew?
This is either right on the nose or completely left field. I have recently gotten really into Electric Callboy.
Oh, wow.
Which has to be one of the goofiest bands I've ever listened to. However, I almost, if my friends knew how fun this band was and didn't tell me, I feel like it was honestly a disservice that was done to me. Listen to the full techno record front to back, which is probably you poser record. Whatever, I don't care. That, it was extremely fun. It was real good, four on the floor type of stuff, just driving fun stuff, but also real stupid techno DJ shit. Mm-hmm. So definitely.
I never told you because I wasn't a fan, so I just didn't think to be like Andrew would like this.
That's fair, because honestly, I didn't think that I would.
Yeah,
I didn't think that I would, and then I was.
Everybody gets a mulligan.
Yeah, I saw a video. I think it was, what the hell's his name? Pizza Beard Party, I think is his name. That's most of his handles on TikTok and stuff. And he posted a funny video with a clip of one of the songs. I was like, what is this stupid shit? And I listened to it. I was like, oh, this actually rocks. So,
Heavy Metal Parking Lot.
Hell yeah, brother.
So that was a pretty fun record. So I'm enjoying them right now.
Nice.
That's my go.
I've been listening to my big find of last year, and I'm late to this party because this band hasn't existed for a long time. But we got really into this band Teeth.
Yes.
That was around for a while. This Canadian band. So the guitar player of that band was in a band called Dead and Divine. They were kind of a Warped Tour band in the late 2000s and or early 2010s. So they put out 3 records and broke up. I thought they were fucking awesome. I just found out that they rock. because every time I die broke up, so there was a bunch of recommendation threads in some groups of being like, whoa, what should I listen to that like is kind of like that? And that was a band that came up a bunch. So the singer of Dead and Divine, after they broke up, started a band called Ritual. And they put out one record in like 12 or 13. And I, again, am crazy late to this, but it's a little more kind of chaotic and weird. And man, I'll tell you, yeah, Ritual, self-titled record, not very search engineable.
Really?
Hard to search. Well, Ritual. Yeah, hard to search.
Oh, that's fair.
But,
You're probably getting Ghost and Sleep
Yeah.
Token and shit.
Yeah. But band is sick. Cool fucking band, man.
Cool. I believe it's that.
Definitely like our type of stuff, kind of chaotic, a little wacky sounding, like a lot of kind of chaotic improvised parts and stuff.
Okay.
Very cool.
Okay.
Big fan of that. And then I think we've all been a little bit on the Many Eyes kick.
Yo, yeah.
That new song, Future Proof, is my favorite of the bunch because it kind of reminds me of like Failure and Hum and like a bunch of like 90s bands that I just fucking love, like dreamy 90s guitar music like that.
That was a real good one.
Yeah, cool song. I it's been a little. I know that band's been a little polarizing for people, but like, whatever. It's my favorite singer, so don't give a shit. Cool. It's cool.
I mean,
everyone tagged Charlie in the band post in the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you were trying to sing for a little. You said you sang in cover bands back in the day.
That's what you told me. Yeah, I've sung in some bands before, which I'm sure we'll get to at some point on the pod. I think the band that I was an actual singer for, there's like no recordings.
Thank God.
Thank God for me. But I was in like it was like a power trio, kind of like kind of 90s-ish. Like I was real into like Helmet and Chevelle and like bands like that at the time.
I apologize.
That type of stop it. I still like that shit. I don't care.
Yeah, I think we probably. I mean, you say that to the guy that like nailed the System covers on a whim.
Well, it's funny because everyone. So we also do. We've done System Down cover shows. Kind of as a joke. Me as a joke.
As an afterthought.
As an afterthought.
Yeah, very much an
afterthought. We
afterthought.
take it seriously, but we're not fucking Surge or Darren or anything like that. But people loved it. And it was because you're the vocalist for it. And we attempt to do the backing vocals.
Yeah, I did as much Darren as I could.
Yeah,
The thing with that was that we were filling a void that a lot of people had because God knows System has forgotten the East Coast exists.
You're telling me.
So they haven't been here since 2014.
They were also kind of like never that good live either.
But who cares?
Subjective, but
I mean that's true, but like who cares?
Yeah. Would I be stoked to see them? Of course.
It's the atmosphere.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. The worst System show would still be fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think we were like filling a void for a lot of people to at least be able to like enjoy the live environment of those songs compared to, watching the YouTube videos or just diving back down music, into music videos or Spotify, whatever. So I think they're just like filling a void, which is why people liked it so much. Not necessarily because it was like we were so spot on and so good. It was just because we were good enough for them to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it filled that void.
Yeah, and I think because the songs are so fucking crazy. Just the lyrics. I mean, Jesus, oh my God, I'm blanking out now. What's the song?
Any of them.
Pizza Pie.
Fucking Vicinity of Obscenity.
No. Chicken soup.
Thank you, Fourth Wall
the
Man.
peanut gallery back there.
Thank you.
No, he's really singing about pizza. But then it goes into the news to tell us fake news, literally back in 2005 and everything like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny.
What's that thing about System of a Down is like.
It's either Armenian genocide or nonsense.
Every 10 seconds, someone goes to a federal prison camp for the rest of their life. I'll eat my own ass, you motherfucker. Like, polka break.
Yeah.
That's just like how they are.
Yeah, and Jesus. I really was hoping we would schedule another one of those so we could. I really want to get you to do darts.
Oh God.
Jesus.
I don't think I have room in my brain for any more Serge Tankian lyrics, man.
Hey man, playing Darren shit as
I'm full.
Purposely bad as he plays it,
yeah.
and trying to also do his vocals is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
hard drive's full, man.
Yeah, it's extremely difficult.
I think
404, baby, 404.
I think the one thing we didn't nail was the on-stage antics that they do, especially what they did back in the day. what was it? Joey Simons. He told us that we're when we performed the Black Dahlia murder on Adderall. Is that what you guys hear that? So one of our good buddies, his name is Joey. He's in a couple local bands here. He pulled me aside for one of the shows. I think it was a November show with Okami up at the Palladium, and it was out. We haven't seen him in a few months. And he's like, "Oh yeah, hopefully we'll give it a good show." And he was like, "Zach, you guys like the Black Dahlia murder on Adderall up there."
Except not even remotely.
We're not even that good, but okay. So we try to give a fun live performance.
The only thing about that's accurate is the operas.
The opera, I was going to say, probably that is. So
Brandon Ellis makes me want to put my guitar down.
We're like a 5 or 6 Red Bull type of band in general.
To say the least.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
And a lot of Jack and Coke for sure. So yes, exactly. There's a lot of that going on. Fueled by Red Bull and
Sponsored by.
and Jack Daniels.
Send me cans of research chemicals.
Yeah. What was that other?
I want them.
What was that?
I want water in a
drink?
monster
Cocaine.
can.
That's
yes,
right.
Cocaine Energy. Sponsor me.
So
send me cans of drinks.
Is that European? Where the fuck did you get that?
No, they're like a New Jersey drink company.
Of course, it's New Jersey.
They got you used to be able to get it very briefly in just fucking pharmacies, like convenience stores, right? But they got
cocaine in a pharmacy.
The FDA got involved. There was there were I don't know if there were actual suits, but there was definitely a lot of cry-holing about that. Like, you can't drink that. So they changed the branding for a minute, and then they just changed it back. But they only do direct to people drinks. So you can still buy that drink. It's delicious. If you have not
spicy,
it sucks.
If you haven't tried cocaine,
it's not good.
It's a delicious drink. It's if you could imagine, picture if you will, drinking a box of hot tamales.
Imagine a spicy margarita, but without all of the fun of a margarita.
Except you get the shakes and you go crazy. It's great.
See, I love hot tamales, but in liquid form, it just seems odd.
No, it's so good. It's
like
so
drinking
tasty.
Sour Patch Kids in a drink, like those stupid energy drinks they got now.
I tried those.
Oh, those are nasty.
Yeah,
they work, but
don't talk
nasty.
to me until I've had my can of research chemicals.
Yeah, no kidding.
Boy.
Oh, brother, it's so good.
Yeah,
you can buy a 24-pack for $20. It is fucking delicious. And not to shill too hard because they're not giving me money.
Pay us. Pay us money.
This is not a paid sponsorship.
Pay us money.
It could be, though. If you wanted it bad enough, it could be.
Nick just wants free cocaine.
Brother, I want any of this up here. I want, dude, if a coffee company sent me bags of coffee, I'd be over the moon. So, any kind of go-go juice, man, I'm in for it. I'm good.
And Nick also makes his own hot sauce.
I do.
Yes. We'll give a plug.
We have to do eventually again.
On and off. I got a little venture called Bigfoot Barbecue Company where I make hot sauce that is fucking good.
It is delicious.
Real limited batches these days because
rest in peace, rib sauce.
The post office has put me over a barrel one too many times.
Oh really?
And they raised prices of shipping an awful lot.
God,
so
yeah, they did.
Right.
It's been a challenge. I wouldn't start a small business these days if I were you. That's how I feel about it.
There you go.
Got charged $75 to ship a box the other day. Fuck you, USPS.
Shit, brother, not great.
No, that sucks shit. Good thing I'm getting a bunch of money in return for that, but hey.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
Not good. Not good. Anywho.
Yeah. So I guess for our first one here, before we kind of settle in any kind of format, I guess, if we want to just be a little selfish and talk about our fucking stupid band for an hour.
Our band sucks. Listen to us.
Our band's awful.
Put in that Scott Pilgrim clip. Yeah, we're terrible. Please come.
Yeah, pretty much.
So our most recent, this past July, we put out a record called Filmed on Location. It took fucking ages to get the goddamn thing out. It was a challenge, and it was a rewarding one. Oh yeah, let's see if we can get the cat on camera here. So
we have Nick's cat on the
side. She might get in here. She's
stopped at the food. She's fine.
Understandable.
Anyway,
food motivated like her dad.
Oh shit.
So it was a real ordeal, but it really came out, I think, as something that is different than a lot of our peers in a way that's fresh. I think and that's not a dig at anybody. I think we just struck on something that I think is neat. That kind of I wanted to be in my favorite band, and that's I think if you're in a band,
it's our motto.
Should want to do that. I think if you are in a band and your band is not your favorite band, then you should fucking quit music. And that's how I feel.
You guys have fun on stage? What?
Yeah.
Well, my favorite band is Too Big to Know I Exist, so I'll take second favorite.
There you go.
Fair, and that works.
I'll take second favorite.
That's fine.
However, Green Day, if you're auditioning people.
Right, yeah. No, there you go.
That guy that they don't talk about.
Yeah, fucking Jason White.
Yeah.
I'll drop these guys like a bad habit if you're auditioning. That's all I'm saying.
So we wanted to kind of go because we started or I started kind of doing like little track by track Instagram posts, and then I kind of gave up because that's a lot of just reading to do.
Reading's hard.
Reading
Take
is
it from
hard.
me.
So we're gonna do the same
I
thing
can't
in this
read.
format.
Yeah, and actually get all the way through it, hopefully.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
So, I mean, the whole thing was definitely like, especially compared to our first record, which I think we're going to probably end up talking about at some point.
EP, technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, regardless.
This was a little bit more of, whereas our first one was real, like, you got this much time, grit your fucking teeth and get through it.
It was type recording.
Yeah.
This one, I think, was a little bit more of like an exercise in taking your time, somewhat to a fault, but definitely a real exercise in like maximalism, where like every song is different guitars. There's 100 friggin' amps. I bought two fuzz pedals for every song. So
And we only used a couple of them.
oh no,
too.
we used them
I
all.
think you used them all. He
We used
said
every-
it. That's
oh,
what you
we
said.
used every
Yeah,
single
that's what
I
you
only
said.
remember using two different
I
ones.
bought 2 fuzz pedals at a time, and they would get into a song,
Yeah.
and then I would sell those 2 or return them or whatever, and then get 2 more. Do then track the next song. And then repeat until the end of time. Obviously, there were things that kind of like there were through lines. There was like gear stuff, which I don't know how geeky we're gonna get here, but like there was kind of gear that was a through line, but it was a real like exercise in just doing a lot, like doing frankly too much.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the fun of it is we built a little ramshackle like studio in my basement and
DIY.
and took our time with it, and it was a lot of I think a lot of fun really. Ultimately it was
fun.
not as
No.
it was not as
It wasn't as stressful as the first
I'm
record.
going to have
No,
a
it
nervous
wasn't.
breakdown as I thought it was going to be.
No, we got.
There was a couple of moments.
There
here
were
and
some-
there.
Oh yeah, but
There were a couple
Yeah.
of nail biters.
yeah, but for the most part, though, it definitely wasn't as stressful as making the first record. I think doing Looked Apart was a lot more kind of brain racking, which is strange because it was half the length of this one. But there was something about it that really felt like a lot more pressure. I don't know if it's because maybe we're trying to like fit pieces into like material that I had already written, or like what it was. But like there was something about that one that felt a lot more.
Well, we also
push.
scheduled a producer, Brad. Brad, shout out to Brad. He was our first producer for Looked Apart.
Love you, Brad.
And we only had 5 days to produce it, or
I think it was
Yeah,
five.
it was
Yeah.
5 or
I don't
7.
even think it was that long.
Might have been
It was
4.
it was quick because he was on a time crunch for his other commitments and everything like that. So we had to drive to Narragansett,
Yeah.
the old church
It was a
every
good
time.
time.
Yeah.
I had a great time working with Brad.
So it was. I had a great time and such. So, but that record was also written before you came into the band.
It was before all you came into the band.
That's true. Yeah, because that was
Before all
mostly
of
a couple
That
of
was-
things
that
for
was
me.
supposed to be
That's
by
fine.
itself.
Yeah, there
More
were
of
there
that,
were
yeah.
parts that got added in, but ultimately it was kind of like a square peg round hole of like let's get everyone on the same page as best we can,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
kind of crank through it. Of course, when you're spending when you're spending money on a stopwatch, you know what I mean? That's also like, of course, the stress of like, oh my God, we only have so much time because we can somebody else's schedule, but also like your own money. It was just like we're gonna run out of fucking
Yeah.
money like
Yeah.
eventually. So that of course is like stressful, but it's I think we had a really a good time knowing that we could take our time.
Yeah.
I think that was definitely like an important part of making the record because it was a hang ultimately, like most of the time until the very end, where because it did get stretched out for as long as it did, people started kind of giving up and coming on days that they didn't have to work, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But it definitely started as like a hang where everybody's like showing up, we're drinking some beers, we're having a nice time, we're having some laughs. It's like we had played these songs to friggin' death, like
Yeah.
kind of to a fault, because it becomes a little bit autopilot-y after a
Yeah,
while,
monotonous, yeah.
and maybe you lose a little magic,
Yeah, I think.
Well, not the record. The record didn't lose the magic in it.
No, I think we got it back when we were actually recording it, but we were playing the songs for so long, and we were also so used to hearing them with one person on them, and like it changed the vibe a lot. That when we didn't have them, we had to kind of rethink them again, and we had to rethink of who we could have gotten, and ultimately Mike would fill the void there, but. We really didn't know what we were going to get at that point, so we were kind of just like, all right, well, we'll feel it out, and hopefully this guy can kind of just put his piece in. But, yeah, it was...
Yeah, we also sang those songs during COVID. So,
COVID gave us a big window
we had a lot of shows planned for COVID, as far as I remember, and then obviously COVID happened and everything got shut down, and we just started writing, and you hear the same shit over and over and over, and I love all these songs to death. But I agree, I remember we were all just like, that's why we were still looking for vocalists. We were still looking for, because our previous vocalist left, so
our,
there was...
Our crybaby shithead.
Before we got Mike, but that was a good solid...
started.
18 months? Because Mike didn't come until...
A little bit later.
2022?
No, end of 23.
No,
or mid 23.
No, maybe late 22.
You silly goose.
Yeah, it was last year.
Was it mid 23 that Mike came around? That we
released 22.
Late 22,
right,
yeah.
Released it mid 22.
Yeah, and then he learned the songs, and we started really laying the final tracks, the mix it with the tracks down.
I work a fucking day job. I don't know what day it is.
I worked a night job. I know the feeling too. So, but no, so we sat on these songs. Jeez, we were playing these songs back in 2019. Some of them like War Bride and Hostage. We were playing those harder. We were playing those years ago.
Well, we'll kind of get to everything in order here.
Yeah,
I guess. Maybe. Yeah, this is probably a good time to start kind of going track by track on this stuff and kind of talk about where we were at and what we were doing and all that. So for those of you who like are gonna watch this and give a shit, like cool, great, awesome. If not, I'm sure it's gonna be like way more like fucking dick jokes going forward. But
there'll be a lot more funnies, but I think we definitely got some cool stuff.
We'll have some laughs anyway
to break down.
So first thing is we kind of the first track there, the coming attractions bit there, because keeping with the I think filmed on location was just like one of those like notepad things. It was just kind of like a notepad idea of like, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Well, I remember how we came up with that. We were sitting outside after practice one day and smoking or whatever the hell it is what we were doing at the time, and we had just talking nonsense, and you had said filmed on location. I was like, oh dude, we should call the first record.
This is kind of like a blurred out, right?
Yeah, we had that name picked before we had Look the Part picked.
Yeah.
We named this record first and it wasn't even done yet.
So question, did you guys know that was from Cops, like filmed on location? Did you guys get
that's just like
that's how I got it.
Cops, I mean, that's just
the
kind
TV
of like
show
a
Cops, right?
Sort of a general like TV film terminology anyway, shooting on location, whatever.
Yeah, gotcha.
It doesn't necessarily mean anything in this context, but
I
do like Cops though. I love Cops.
I thought the context of it was funny because it's like, oh, it's an audio record that says filmed on location. Like I just thought that was very stupid. Yeah, and it was something that we would do, and we did.
Do you also want to talk about the cover?
The cover was we kind of like. We kind of like battled about the cover as far as what it was going to look like. I don't know if that's that exciting really, but it was kind of
that might be more of a digital poster.
There were some drafts. I fucking had to like learn Procreate to like do this, and that sucked. But there were some ideas, and it was just kind of like something that would capture the vibe, the kind of like collage-y kind of ransom note kind of look, which is I think a little bit less on the cover that we settled on, but that there is sort of a through line from where we started to where we ended up.
For sure, yeah.
Sure. Now with the intro, I'm trying with coming attractions. I'm trying to think if it was that something that we ever actually talked about, or was that something that just kind of happened?
No, we did talk about it, and I remember because we had tossed the idea around to do the filmed on location idea, and then I said, well, what if we were to do an intro track that was kind of like when you go to the movie theater, like the old time movie theater, and they were like, go get your snacks at the snack bar, like all that stupid kind of shit they used to do before the movies went on, and those things were usually before the coming attraction trailers or whatever it would be. And so I remember talking about that and having that idea, and I thought it was going to be something a little bit more kind of along those lines when, I remember one of the ideas that we were talking around was like keep your hands and feet inside the ride at all times and like kind of dumb shit like that.
Well, a sample like that made it into the end.
It's something like it was kind of on the same, like where we started and where we ended is definitely kind of on the same general idea. But I remember talking about that first, and then from that idea came the idea to do an intermission because intermissions would happen in a setting like that, and then obviously end credits. So it all kind of just fit into the general vibe. But I do remember having that conversation in my house.
And just to add on to that, we all of us, so 5 of us in the band, kind of threw in or gave ideas of samples for you.
Yeah, that's
for sure. Yeah,
that was definitely that was, I think, once we actually kind of settled on what was happening.
Yeah.
I think I told everybody to give me like
You did.
recommend what do you got for me for like movies or what have you. So there's a lot of stuff, and maybe we'll maybe we'll punch in stuff without all the noise.
Yeah,
so you guys can hear
you
some
did.
of that isolated samples and stuff. Maybe we'll do that in post here. But there's everything from like of course Twilight Zone was a classic. There's some 50s sci-fi stuff in there.
3 out of my 4 made it.
What were yours again?
The Vecna Clock.
Yeah, which is just Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm
Same,
Street.
Whatever.
Same shit.
Whatever. But it was the height of Stranger Things, season 4 at that point.
Same Anger Things.
Yeah, same
Anger
Things.
Things.
So it was the Vecna Clock noise. It was Bonesaw.
Bonesaw is ready.
Yeah, that's in there.
Spider-Man.
And,
Rest in peace.
and
Roger
Bill and
Mary
Ted.
Sims.
Who was it?
Bill and Ted.
Oh yeah, how's it hanging death?
Yep,
Yeah,
that was the only other one that didn't make it, and it's probably because Ice Nine Kills made it already cool. Was the Pennywise nose honk.
Nose honk.
That was the only one that didn't make it for that I suggested at least.
I selfishly just think that the current It movies like suck on ice, so I just didn't put it in. But
I mean, I was thinking more Tim Curry anyway, but whatever.
Well, that's true. But that was also it just seemed like it was going to be too easy. But what else is there? Of course we've got Tenacious D.
Yeah, Tenacious D is in there.
Tenacious D is in all. Not intermission, but there is a Tenacious D bit in end credits, which we'll talk about. But there's that one. Oh no, School of Rock. It's not fucking Tenacious D. It's School of Rock at the beginning.
Jack Black.
What's the difference?
It doesn't matter. It's Jack Black. Jack Black is
Jack Black with a guitar.
Jack Black is the through line of all of our music.
Yeah.
We
We
owe him
do for
everything.
Jack Black.
But yeah, so there's that. There's there's some stuff I don't even know what it was. I just pulled some like 50 sci-fi shit.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff in there.
And the vocoder "Hang On to Your Butt Cheeks" at the end was just a stupid fucking bit.
Yeah, I don't even know where that came from.
That was
a good one.
That was just vocoder. That was just an idea. That was like actually where that sort of came from was at the end of one of my favorite records, "City" by Strapping and Lad. The last song on that record has just a big long trail out, and after kind of a period of silence, of course we're in the hidden track era because this is like 97 that record came out. So there's kind of a period of silence, and then there's like a speak and spell voice that says, "Strapping and Lad rocks my hairy anus." Which is fucking crazy town. But that was the idea there. But it was a lot of the noise was all kind of homebrew sounds.
Yeah.
There is so much shit going.
Yeah.
That's only 1 minute. It's a minute long, and there's so many. I can't even pick all the samples in there. I mean, no, you put it together, so.
I think the other thing that I don't remember which one. It was either me or you that had suggested it was to do like that, like film reel sound in the beginning. I don't remember who did that. But
Oh, that's where the little.
Yeah, like the way it starts is like the starting of a film reel, which is pretty cool. But it all kind of kept with the theme there. I think that was like the kind of one of the pieces of the bun there.
Yeah.
I think
I think we're also just from that time too. Like we're all in our early 30s, so we're kind of from that time of like when bands did movie samples and stuff.
Yes.
I don't miss a lot of things about the mid 2000s as far as like guitar music goes, but fuck, I miss movie samples, dude.
Yeah, good ones.
Yeah, so doing that I think was just part of like, you know what, we have like a long form like format to play around with. why don't we do some stuff that's maybe it's a little indulgent, but it's fun, and that's kind of part of the it breaks it up a little bit to having a sort of beginning, middle, end, gives it a little bit of that long form like format. It gives people a little bit of a breather rather than just being punched in the fucking face for 12 songs straight, which is also great. And cool in its own way, but to kind of cultivate a vibe, I think it was important.
I think it really set us apart from what was around us too. Like, I feel like most bands around us are doing like, 5-6 track EPs and stuff, and they're not really thinking of extra things in the sense of like any kind of sound design and like things like that can kind of just like spice up the record, but they're not 100% necessary. So I think that it was a little bit different that we did something like that, but I liked it.
Well, one of the main things that we've always talked about is when we perform live, we wanted to make it sound as close as possible to the record.
Yeah.
So we outside of like the the intro and the intermission, the end credits, there's no, as far as I know, there's no sampling within our record itself.
No.
As far as I know, or very minor.
There's very
stuff.
little,
Yeah.
but I kind of put the squash on a lot of that when we were doing the recording of the actual instruments for that exact reason.
Yeah, I remember that.
We didn't. I knew that we could have done so many things studio wise, but if we did things that filled too much space, then that means that when we played live, because we were missing that tech, the live space would be empty. So I
can't lose those laptops, right?
Yeah. No, laptops are for suckers.
Yeah, we don't use no laptops for our stuff. So
so I definitely
nothing against it, but
I definitely tried to mitigate it as much as possible. There's some like drone sounds underneath certain parts of the tracks, and like maybe some fuzz effects that we don't exactly do live at every point, but like little things like that we're fine.
The majority of the record is basically one guitar on each side, and everything else kind of up the middle. We went fairly live, like up to and including the point of like having kind of a loose feel as far as like we weren't even really noise gating the guitars.
We did a little bit. We did a little bit. Not too much though. It was definitely like we were okay with a little bit of the noise.
Yeah. No, I mean like straight up there was just not a noise suppressor in front of any of that shit.
I thought we had a little bit.
Huh? No, straight in. So it's as far as like setting good sounds and kind of having it be like, I'm of the belief like fix it in pre. So when we were coming in, it was the decision was made to be like, listen, we're not taking DIs, we're not gonna gate the guitars, we're gonna like have it be, because we're coming from a school where like when people ask me what we sound like, I am loath to say metalcore because of what that genre is at this point. I think would give people the wrong idea as to what we actually sound like. But the metalcore to me is, what's that core part mean? Hardcore.
Yeah.
We are coming from it at the very least in good part. I think you and I are different schools, mind you, but still, we're coming from punk and hardcore in a way that like a lot of the genre kind of like isn't really anymore. So to have it be a little loose, be a little rock and roll, minimal kind of like doctoring of stuff, have it like fix it in pre, get good sounds going in, spend the time, get good sounds going in,
punch it in,
and you don't have to change that much. You know what I mean? You don't have to like spend as much time later on massaging shit that sucks or doing any kind of like panicked like turd polishing,
neutering it almost.
Yeah, and then and the further you get away from that stuff, it's like I think you do yourself a disservice a little bit as far as like, especially to the aggression of like, when you're reamping guitar, and we'll just try not to get too geeky here, but like you're reamping guitars, you lose all your right hand kind of chop that makes it like cool. That stuff is like, it goes away the more you kind of like kind of hack away at things in post. So it's like, okay, well, spend those time, just set your fucking amps how you want it to sound, and then you don't have to do any of that shit, and you get things in a way that's really raw and authentic and honest. And maybe you hear some skronk, some guitar skronking and some clams or whatever, but like don't fix that shit, because that's what makes like the records that we like really cool. I think there's something to that.
But I guess we can segue that into like the first track, since coming attractions is so short. That with Hard Earned.
Well, Flo's run into.
Yeah.
You know,
Hard Earned was one of the first ones that we really wrote together, because
you and Andrew all over that.
Yeah, because there was stuff that was there was like stuff that you had, there was stuff that I had, but that was one where like we kind of like each had, like I had a couple of parts that I was showing you, and you kind of like sprung that main riff kind of out of nowhere with that, because I had a couple of bits that I thought were cool but didn't really have a home for. Like, oh, this is a cool, like, this would be a cool mosh part. This would be a cool, like, kind of, like, smashy, kind of straight beat part. But, like, I didn't really have necessarily, like, something to anchor it to, as far as, like, a chunk in the, like, the main part. And you kind of heard that and went, I got it. And you were really, like, right on the ball with that, as far as getting that main riff going, because of you kind of borrowed stuff from the stuff that I had to kind of make give it a turnaround. We kind of sat there and it was real quick. That was like a one shot.
Yeah, I think we wrote that during a shift at work.
Maybe.
I remember working on it there for sure. I remember coming up with the main riff there, and I remember you showing me the ending riff there too.
Yeah.
Like I remember you showing me that.
That was meant to be a different vibe completely. That part was intended to be like kind of a two-steppy bit. And ended up working way better as like a mosh part.
Yeah, and we wound up flipping the chorus idea that you had too, because that riff was supposed to be a lot different. And I was like, oh, that could be a chorus riff. Like that could go from from A to B.
That would be kind of like that chromatic sort of walk down thing.
Did you guys actually like not record, but actually write? They used to work at Guitar Center, by the way. Like
Guitar Conglomerate.
Yeah, do you guys actually play guitars and like actively? Because I wasn't there. Write any of the stuff like at work and anything like that?
We did it constantly. Like if we were, especially before I became a manager too. Like if we had, if there weren't customers in the store and stuff, or hell, even when there were, we didn't give a fuck. But like, whenever we had some downtime, me and him were basically just sitting in front of some amps and trying to figure out the record as much as possible. And a lot of like our regulars that became our friends, like Joey, for example, he was there while we were writing a couple of the tracks on this record, because we had just had nothing else to do at that point during the day. So I definitely remember working on Hard Earned at GC mostly, and then I think we flushed it out because you were living with me at that point.
Yeah. So I had moved in with you at that point.
Yeah, so I think that we wound up just kind of flushing it out a little bit during like one of our stay-in days. But
yeah, it was quick, because a lot of that, I think up until that point, we were still kind of like trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
As far as like what one another would be stoked about too. I think there was
we were definitely learning each other then.
The guitar relationship was still kind of burgeoning at that point, and that was like one of those things where it was like it came together really, really quick, and it was assembled in basically one sitting. Like, that's it. There it is, and that was a cool. That was definitely like.
And what I remember too is I think once we were, at least we got it demoed. You guys, maybe all of us collectively, said that this was going to be the opener to the album.
Yes.
Maybe other than the intro and the coming attraction, but this is definitely the first song we want the people to hear.
Once we had the idea to have Drum Zach start the track with that fill.
Yep.
Once we had that idea, that's kind of when we knew that it would be the opening track for the record, because with the other stuff that we had at the time, I think we had War Bride.
We had War Bride. We had Gone Hold. We had Gone Cold.
Kind of, but not really though, because we didn't really work on that one until near the end of the record. It was floating around, but we didn't really do much to it till the end. So we had War Bride.
Hostage.
Did we have Hostage
was getting worked on.
Yeah, Hostage. It might have been in the general working. And so none of those. Yeah, because Black Blanket was a lot later. Hornet's Nest was later. Iron Providence was somewhere in the middle of the writing. So at that point, really didn't have anything that we felt would be a great first track. And back then too, like I was still in the vibe of like not loving War Bride. So like I was trying to not let that be the first track.
We'll
of the
talk
record.
about that.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there because that's a fun story. But I definitely know that once we demoed the track out, and we were able to program the drums and make it make sense. And we had the idea for the fill. I don't remember whose idea it was out of the four of us. I don't remember who it was, but whoever had the idea. Once we did that, we were like, all right, this is it. This is the track that's going to start the record, and then we'll roll it out from there. But yeah, that was a strong. And even listening back to the songs now, I think we still made the right choice. Mm-hmm. Like I can't think of any other song that would have been a better start.
It's got everything you want. It's got a fast intro. It's got the crazy panic sparks. It's got riffs in there. At the end of the song, we got the my little section with the bass that comes in for the breakdown. I think for at least just for me, it's the perfect start to our record because a lot of these songs could be quite varied, I would say.
Yeah.
But I would say for this one, it kind of encompasses all that in a very quick 1 minute, 53 seconds sort of way. These are quick hitters, by the way.
It is.
Yeah, definitely.
I think we started almost every show we've played with Hard Earned. I'm most likely. I don't think we.
There was a couple of times where we started with Hostage and we didn't like it.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of times where we started with Hostage, trying to change it up, and it didn't feel right. Yeah. So we were like, all right, fuck this. We'll just go back to Hard Earned. But yeah, I think, like you said, I think in 1 minute and 53 seconds, it kind of gives you a clip of like, hey, this is who we are. This is what we're gonna try and do.
Hang on to your bones,
fuck with it or don't, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck with it or don't, but this is basically the story that we're trying to tell. And so that one was, like I said, for what we had, it was definitely the better option. Like I said, listening back to it now, there's a couple of songs that could have been cool openers. Let the Right One In could have been a cool one.
That was my vote for a while.
Well,
when we really talked about it, it was pretty undeniable.
Well, that's the next song after.
We compromised. That was the compromise. We were like, all right, well, it can't be number one, so we'll make it number two.
Yeah, I guess we should probably talk about lyrics too. For interested parties here. So
you wrote the lyrics.
That was a lot. That was a lot of work.
You hear how excited he sounded?
I'll go fuck myself.
A lot of work, but
also
lyrical content super proud of where it ended up. And that was just something that I had to do because, again, aforementioned Crybaby Dickhead, not a great lyricist. So, in the interest of putting out music that I could listen to without feeling like I was swimming upriver in somebody else's cum.
We don't hold back
that's
here.
There's the clip right there. There's the quote. There's the quote. Just that.
Wanting to feel like there was something I could actually stand behind, and it was just like, unfortunately, it was kind of a necessity. But that song is kind of about, it's about trust. It's about, it's more specifically kind of what happens when trust goes away, and being in sort of, ultimately when things like that happen, and whether that doesn't matter kind of what circumstance, it can be sort of interpreted broadly.
Words hard.
Very tough. But moreover, kind of what happens when that goes away, and you can kind of put on a face as though you've sort of come back from a state of trust being lost, but you never really are, right?
That's why it's harder.
If it is a little bit maybe about being kind of a grudge holder.
You hold grudges?
Which I would
no. Nick with grudges? No. No.
Keep sipping.
Yeah,
never.
You sip and shut up.
What was the working title of the song?
The working title for Hard Earned was Caucasidal Mania.
Oh, that's the demo. Right.
That was what the demo was called.
Yeah.
So one thing I will say that I pride myself on, and I know Nick does too, is the working titles for our songs. We'll go through all of them, but that's one of the better ones.
As a disclaimer, a lot of these are just inside. A lot of bands do this all the time.
Unpleasant.
They're not nice.
I would say about 95% of all the working titles, or everyone in the car, just all inside jokes.
I'm
and
still
stuff
sitting
like that.
on My Chemical Romance Big Rubber Fist.
I'm
still sitting on that one. We haven't nailed that one down yet.
I'm on Tight Grip. I'm still on Tight Grip. Or White Knuckler?
Yeah, White Knuckler, yeah.
So there's definitely some
there's some others, yeah.
People that tried out to be in this band got some songs with like absolutely repulsive working titles. So it's like, okay, to have like a...
Who was it that said, I'm not saying that?
It was Mike.
It was Mike.
Oh, was it?
It was Mike, yes.
I am not saying the name of this song. No, wasn't it Wayne?
It was all of them. It was everything.
It was all. It was all.
Well, that's obviously not the name of the fucking song.
They didn't know they were. They
just
didn't
started,
know.
yeah.
We just have revolting senses of humor, and the songs don't have titles
do.
yet.
That's
So,
yeah.
So that's yeah.
We
that
were
was a
also
good one.
this song was actually originally going to be called Harder and Death, but we shortened it
Yes.
because
I don't know. I don't remember that. Really?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep, it was originally going to be called. So basically, I can't write lyrics for shit. However, if you give me the lyrics, I can pick out the song title. I named almost every song on the record.
Okay.
And I remember seeing this one, and there's a line in the song that ends with Harder and Death, and I was like, oh, that's it right there.
Oh, okay.
That's
Got
it.
that
And
now.
then I think it was you that said to take the death out of it and,
Yeah.
to just cut it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a couple of them were shortened like that. But, yeah, Harder and was originally Harder and Death, but prior to that, it was Cockacidal Maniac, which fucking rocks.
That rocks.
That's so good.
Yeah, right one was right one. I really wanted to have something with some blast beats. It was like, I feel like I write with like a checklist in mind of like
This is a heavier
this song
song.
should have
Heavier.
blast beats, or like I want something with blast beats. I want like a bass intro at the beginning of a song.
Yep.
The
So
cowbell was on the checklist.
Yeah.
We had a whole album checklist.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So
I forgot about that. Yep.
so right one was kind of a few things. So like a lot of those parts, I was just kind of like playing some bass for fun, and that was kind of like where a lot of that stuff sort of happened. We shaved out like one part really, which I'm really glad we did.
Yes,
It was
we
like the demo was a bit different than where we ended up, which is unusual because we usually kind of settle on like how it is.
Yeah, this was definitely one of the more changed ones demo-wise. But it was only from a composition standpoint, though.
Yeah, it was just one repeating part. Basically,
Yeah,
we took a part out and had a repeating part. That was,
the riffs on this one were all good. There was, we didn't really add anything to this song. It was more of like the original structure of it didn't really sit right, and so we sat down and I was like, all right, hear me out on this one, and I kind of like cut and pasted some stuff and I moved some stuff around in the demo, and that's what we wound up landing on.
the fake out ending was a mistake, where there's a long pause.
That was a mistake.
That was a mistake. I put it was too long of a gap. And then
Wait, that made the record?
yes, where
Oh,
it's
really?
the into my chest and it's the
Yeah.
and there's a long stop. That was a mistake.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know that.
And as I was kind of like
She was still learning.
hacking out the parts to show you guys to kind of like do version 1, I went, wait a minute. Oh no, that's fucking cool. Hold on.
Yeah,
That's
no,
kinda
it's
sick.
yeah. I actually didn't know that was a
Yeah,
mistake.
that was the mosh part of that tune was the first thing that I wrote, not for this band, but the first kind of chronology wise. I wrote that part before I was even in a band, and I was just trying to find a band.
Yeah, that was
when,
like the
when I was living in Jersey City, and I was sitting on my couch in my shitty apartment, and I was trying to start what was gonna end up being down there's version of like probably a grosser version of us, and that was just sort of a part that was floating around, and it was just one of those things where like, this is too fucking cool to not give it a home.
Yeah, you've had that riff for a while. I
Yeah,
think one of the first things you played was that to us.
I wrote
years
that riff
ago.
a solid year before I joined this band.
Yeah.
yeah.
That was just hanging out, and it's like, oh, thank God, there's finally like a home for this.
Yeah.
The video, that was our first
We
video.
had our first video on this.
That
too,
was
yeah.
a lot. That was quite a bit of work, but it was a lot of fun. We
DIY as well.
We moved so many amps into that basement.
Oh yeah.
Holy shit.
I should have counted. I didn't count. But
We got a picture of it.
we built a little studio apartment out of cabinets, and
Yeah.
man, fuck, it was sweaty down there.
Yeah, that was hot. It was
Jesus.
miserable.
Oh, no fun.
Worth it though.
Yeah,
That's
Sweaty boys.
Came out great. That was like something where we were, and I feel like this always happens. Is, there's lots of things that have happened with this band where we're like, you know what, like let's fucking do it ourselves. We were like talking about kind of doing some video stuff, and obviously kind of budget stuff. Budget problems came up, and just some indecision in general, where it was the question ultimately became, do we just put a camera in my fucking basement and make this happen? And I think we were a little bit like, oh, I don't know at first.
I definitely was.
Yeah.
I was definitely the thought.
I trusted you.
I think we had that conversation, but
yeah,
then it
we did.
came
I
up
trusted
with
you.
just like, how many fucking times have I told you we're gonna do it ourselves? Trust me, trust me, trust me, and it ended up being fine.
Fuck you, Peyton.
And it ended up, yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah,
most of the time.
I think the vibe was intact from what we were trying to go for there.
Yeah.
And you also use fish eye.
Yeah, look at the
lens.
fish eye and and again in true DIY spirit, there was all these like lens filters I was trying to buy that were all way too much money, so I just broke a
yes,
it was just a greased up set of reading glass.
Yeah, I remember looking at it, I was
that.
like, what the fuck is this? And he was like, oh, it's for the video.
Don't worry about it.
I was
It's
like,
gonna
I'm
look
going to
cool.
trust you for it. So.
Yeah, I definitely had my reservations about it, but I'm also from a side of music where things are a lot more polished. Mm-hmm. Typically when they're released, your Avenged Sevenfold and your Green Days and your both my Valentines and Kill Switches and stuff.
You're pretty easy to convince, though.
It was because I didn't have another option.
Yeah.
I didn't. This was one of those scenarios where I didn't have an alternative. You know what I mean? I was so kind of not out of this song, but in a sense, a lot of this song was done prior to me. So I didn't really have a lyrical concept to go on. I didn't really have a visual concept to go on for this one, like I do with some of the other ones. So I was just all right, you know what? I'm gonna just sit back and shut up and just let it be what it is. And if it sucks, it sucks. But if it's great, it's great. So I kind of just kept my mouth shut on it. And again, it did work out.
Yeah, because the lyrics are based on the movie Let the Right One In.
Sort of, kind of, yeah.
It was you said you based off that.
Where when we were originally kind of putting this tune together, we were still with our old singer who kind of brought the kind of the vampire metaphor in without talking too much about his fucking life. It was
unfortunately with this record we can't avoid it.
Yeah.
There's a few.
That was something that had sort of come up as some stuff in his personal life going on. What he sort of gave me for lyrics were hot shit, but the metaphor was there. It was intact. So okay, well, and then again, of course, the movie thing always comes out, but that's just a cool. Just let the right one in. That's a cool phrase. I just thought it would be a really cool, just thing to name a fucking song. Ultimately, where it kind of it works regardless of kind of the subject matter. So of course, there's again, without getting too much into that, it was okay, the sort of general theme being in a broad stroke, he wanted to kind of write something about infidelity, which was
yeah, I remember that
kind of forefront in his mind at the time. So okay, well, let me give you something that actually is gonna work. So it was kind of that moment where things go again, drop the warhead, etc. The moment where things go nuclear is kind of where that tune starts. To have it be kind of chaotic with all the feedback and the sort of it's kind of flying apart for a second, sucks back in, and there's your tune, and all of that. So the fake out ending was kind of an accident that ended up kind of lending itself really well to just a cool vocal feature. There's a lot of good spots for little one-liners. That was kind of the point. That's always kind of the point. Is ultimately, I know that when I'm writing lyrics, my philosophy is every line should be something that you want to get tattooed on your forehead, right? Every line should be a one-liner. Every single line in a song should be the fucking one-liner that some other band's final, here it is.
I would say every song, almost every song has something like that in there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Something recognizable and such.
The point was to make every single line
yeah.
like a holy shit showpiece, and that was I think an early one as far as actually writing the lyrics for that one.
Yeah.
We should talk about our favorite lines at some point.
Yeah.
That was something that our buddy Ben was bringing up to us.
The one thing I like about this song as the bass player, there's a lot of
you get some independence.
Well, I got a little independence, but I also even in the chorus part, I actually groove with the drums more than you guys do. Little handed chords and stuff.
You get a little independence as a player where it is even though it is a more hectic tune. A lot of the time, it's tough to not just have you lock in. But
Yeah,
we
there's nothing wrong
were
with that,
trying to
yeah.
like, as far as like in writing the bass
Yeah.
parts, in like talking about that stuff,
yeah.
to have some parts where you get your own space.
Yeah, I was real. I remember, I think even saying during we were recording it, I think between you and I was I definitely should groove with Caruso, other Zach, on that sort of stuff. Just fill in, keep a warmer sound behind you guys. You can pan the chords and everything like that. I really liked how it came out, just because it feels. It's to the point, but still feel full. Yeah. That makes sense in a way.
It reinforces the drums being a little more.
Yes.
There's a backbeat to it. That mosh part is loose and kind of, he's a little behind the beat, which is always, I think, a cool thing for drummers to do, as far as like when they're really, really hammering home like a halftime part like that. It gives you a lot of space. It's coming from a little bit of maybe that Pantera sort of sense.
Yeah, that's
like,
exactly what I was thinking.
when there's a real busy, if there's like kind of a hectic guitar part going on, the bass lays back a little bit. Yeah.
Rex Brown, one of the
play
men.
less
Loves
notes,
Rex.
man.
Yep, love it.
And there's your songwriting tip of the day, kids. Is your bass player's probably playing about twice as many fucking notes as he needs to, and you should probably just have your bass player play about half of what you're playing now,
It's going to sound 100
and
times
it's going to
better.
sound less hacky.
Yeah.
You know what's fucked up? I don't remember writing this song at all. I don't really. I remember
that was mostly all.
I remember the composition part, because we did that at my house in my basement. I remember that.
Yeah.
But that's it. I don't remember anything else about the process of this song. I really don't. Which is kind of fucked up.
I kind of brought the first version in. It was actually me and our old singer were hanging out that day. I think we were all gonna hang out and write, and everybody else was kind of busy. But he came over still, and we ended up just kind of like, I went, hey, I've got a couple of things that are cool. We were just like drinking beers and hanging out, and then that kind of the skeleton kind of came to. I brought it to you guys a little later on.
Yeah, it's so fucked up. I don't remember.
Yeah, it wasn't the first one, but you've held on to that one for a bit.
I remember you showed me like the really rough, like shitty demo on your phone and stuff. I remember it coming up,
but it was the last beat part. I remember that very vividly for other Zach to Caruso to play and stuff like that. So another song we always play all the time for the crowd. I think it's a fan favorite. I think a little hit, although it's our first video and such.
Yeah, first video, second single now.
Yeah. Speaking of, it is on YouTube. Go look it up. It's called Let the Right One In. Horrorcore Keen reviewed it as well.
He did. Mr. Browning himself.
Yes. What do you call it? There was something he said. Shit, something about you.
He put a really goofy picture of me in the
photo.
thumbnail.
That's what it
Wait,
was.
did he do that?
Punch that in.
Yeah.
I
Show
thought
that.
you gave him that.
No,
He found that. He found that on his own.
That rocks. That's hysterical.
The thumbnail for for Hardcore Keem's review, hilarious.
That's a real good
His
one.
face on
I'm
there,
full
awesome.
blown, like honking my nips.
That's it.
Big time.
I was
Big
sitting
mode.
there and I'm like, oh boy, what a surprise! Nick's the thumbnail again. I 100% thought you gave that to him.
No.
100%. Wow.
No.
That's funny. That actually makes it a lot funnier.
Yeah.
That he just happened to pick that photo of all
No, it
the
was
pictures
good.
he could have possibly taken.
Recognizable. That's a good thing.
He went through and he made a decision on that one, which is a great one.
Yeah, he took creative liberties on that one. Shout out to the thought.
I'm
a fan.
That was
All
something.
right,
That was
fan.
let that right one in on YouTube. Check that one
Watch
out.
that shit, please.
So, all right. Want to do the next one or?
Well, I don't know. That's probably. I guess that's probably.
Take us home, boys.
Well,
Okay,
you know what?
We'll go from
Yeah,
there.
I am Providence is a longer one, so
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll end it from there for now. So.
Well,
That's
anyway, we'll be back with some more tunes, talking about some more stuff from our record filmed on location that you should fucking listen to, or I'll kill you and then myself. And then we'll have some guests on. We're gonna do so much shit we don't even know yet, because pilot episode, boys.
yeah, we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
I don't know.
But we got some real cool segment ideas that we're gonna try and get to. We got a bunch of buddies we're gonna try and have on to come hang with us.
Talk some stories about shows we've had. There's a lot of them.
We'll talk about some old bands that we had and some old songs that we released and stuff. We'll dive into maybe some old records that we were on and things like that. Try and pick up an old band or something and go from there. And I don't know, if you like it, let us know, man.
We are the Mighty Fall.
City, baby.
We are the Mighty Fall. Film no releases on all your streaming platforms. We also sell CDs for all you local guys here. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram. We have a link tree, I think, as well. Please support us. We appreciate it. We love you guys. And as we like to say,
Life's
If it was
hard when
a-
my dick isn't.
Yeah, exactly.
TMF is a
TMF
cult.
is a cult, baby. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wash your hands, don't be racist, and turn your head and cough.
Jesus